Everyone, you are going to love this lesson. I'm actually really excited to teach this because this is the final tense that is so important for us to know. So remember, we have a total of 12 tenses and we are going to finalize the last 3. Now this is lesson 111 part 2, and we are really going to focus on the perfect progressive action. That is the same thing as the perfect progressive tense, same as the perfect continuous tense, the same as the progressive perfect tense. You can hear them different ways. As long as you're understanding what they are is the most important. So now the perfect progressive action, you absolutely need to understand that you mainly use the have been and the has been. Now you're mostly going to use these 3 helping verbs, 1, 2, 3. We're going to use them as have been and has been, but then also when we want to put something in the past, it's going to be had been, or if we want to put it in the future, we're going to have will have been. So I want you to really remember that these are the 3 main ones that we're going to use. Now have puts you in the what tense is it? Have puts you in the present,
third,
singular, no,
second,
first, second, and then plural. So have is used most of the time because it's going to be first person, second person, and as singular, and then for plural it doesn't matter, first, second, or third person, it's the plural verb. Has, when are we going to use has?
Only in the third person.
We are going to use that in the third person singular. So just make sure that you understand that. The first lesson was so important to watch because you're going to see how you're going to break these apart. Now, been is your perfect tense of the verb be. And so that's how we're getting the perfect in here. Helping verb. Now we can still call this the helping verbs. These are helping verbs, and we're calling these the verb phrases. These are verb phrases. Let's look at the very first sentence. I have been decorating for the last 2 months. Now we have is your present tense verb, been the perfect, it's keeping you in the perfect, and then look, decorating is in the progressive. But what does this mean? I have been decorating. This is present tense. So I have been. So somebody knocks on the door and they say, hey, what you been doing? I have been. I have been decorating. That means I'm not finalizing my decorating. That means I'm continuously still wanting to decorate. It's not complete. It's not finished. So, but this is the finalized verb. So, because you're putting it with the others, it means I'm done for a minute, right? I'm done for a little while. Maybe I'm done for the day. Maybe I'm done for the month. Maybe I'm done for the year. But you still are, I could pick it up at any minute. I have been decorating. So right here you said she has been decorating for the last 2 months. Look, third person singular, third person singular. And then we have been, which is your perfect tense. Decorating is your progressive tense. Okay? We still can call these the helping verbs, though. These 2 are helping. This verb phrase is helping the decorating. I have been applying wood chips around my yard. Now, present tense verb, singular takes the singular verb. Now, can I say we have been applying wood chips around our yard? Can we say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, because this can also be the plural verb. So Paul and I have been applying wood chips around our yard. Now we got a whole dump truck load. Actually, about 5 years ago is when I first started just putting wood chips around the yard with Daniel and Paul. Now Daniel's too busy to really be doing that with me. But Paul is my main wood chip spreader. And so, yes, we can say we have been, you have been, They have been. So have can be plural. Have is first and second person singular. And first, second, and third plural, have is. And then we have Lisa has been applying wood chips around her yard. Singular takes the singular verb. Third person, that is third person. You can use lots of third persons with this verb, has been. Now think about this. Has been. I have been applying. Okay, so I started about 5 years ago applying wood chips around the yard. Am I finished applying? I'm not. I intend on applying more wood chips every time I get them because they help with forest fires, so we don't want those. They help control weeds around the house and around the yard, and they look beautiful. And so I want to keep applying. So I have been applying. So this says I've been doing it in the present, right? But, yeah, I'm done for right now. I've been doing it. And the progressive says it's a continuing action, right? I'm not done applying wood chips. So that's what that means. The same thing here. We could say we have been applying wood chips around our yard, right? Same thing here. It's a continuing action still. It's over, it's done, but we can start it up again. Remember how we've broken these apart in the past, present, and future. When you look into so many things, they say past, present, future, past, present, future. Now, in a lot of our other videos, I've started with the present because it's the most confusing. Things change in the present, but I am going to keep it in the past, present, and future this time. So now, remember, we're just going to go through how you're going to use the past perfect progressive. So you're going to have the past perfect progressive, you're going to have the present perfect progressive, and you're going to have the future perfect progressive. Okay? Same thing, simple, progressive, perfect. You're going to have all of those. So when we want it to be in the past, finalize. See how this one isn't final. This is happening right now. It's the present. When you want it to be done, you want it to be final, you're going to use the word had. Had been, whatever the verb is, plus your ing. See, look, perfect, the been is the perfect, the verb with your ing is your progressive, and then this is your past tense verb. Now let's look at the present. So, the present perfect progressive, we're going to use the verbs have or has, just like what we had there, so no confusion. The present is used the most. All right? The present is used the most. All right, Paul? The present is used the most, okay? What's used the most, Paul?
The present.
The present is used the most. Now, what are we going to do in the present? We're going to use have or has been, depending on your subject, and plus your verb plus your ing. So, whatever it is. So, have and has is the present, been is your perfect, and the verb plus your ing is the progressive. So now let's look in the future. We have future perfect progressive. Now in the future, you're going to use the verb will. Will have been. I will have been, which can be kind of confusing. So you will have been completing something by a certain amount of time. Will puts you in the future, actually will have, because you have to use will have for the future. You see how have is the simple tense verb, and you have to put the future on the simple tense verb. And then you go, the been is the perfect, and your verb plus your ing is your progressive. We're in the past. So we have the simple progressive, the perfect, and then the perfect progressive. See how there's 4 of them. Then we have the present, simple, progressive, perfect, and the perfect progressive. There's another 4, 4, 8. Then you have in the future, the simple progressive, the perfect progressive, another 4, that makes 12. 4, 8, 12 tenses. There's 4 that put you in the past, 4 that put you in the present, for that puts you in the future, and you have to be using the correct auxiliary verb for each one of these. Look at this base word. What is it?
Spell.
Spell. This base word is your simple tense. It's the basic of basic. Basic of basic. As basic as you can go. And then you add all of your prefixes and suffixes onto this word. And this word, as you're adding your helping verbs plus your INGs, it's going to put you in the progressive tense. When you want to be the perfect, you're going to use the correct auxiliary verbs, and then you're going to use the ED. Now, this is so interesting, you guys. You've heard of spelt, S-P-E-L-T, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so which is correct? Do we spell it like this or S-P-E-L-T?
ED. Both.
Both are correct. Now in America, this is the most common. This is what they really want you to spell with most of the time. In British English, both are acceptable. It doesn't really matter which one you do, but this is what's tricky. When you say this word, it's spelled, you say it spelt. And it sounds the exact same way as if you said spelled S-P-E-L-T. Spelt different. Why do you say spelt right here? So the reason why Americans want to keep this out of the irregular area. If you use the ED, it's easier because it keeps you in the regular verb area. But the L is not a vibrating sound. So you're going to go to the T, spelt. So if it's a non-vibrating sound, everything moves to a T. If the consonant right next to the suffix ed is a hard sound, like when it's a hard sound, it's going to say d. Now, when we want it to say ed, the way it looks, it's this consonant needs to be a T or a D. But we're trying to keep it out of the irregulars with the word spelt. Okay, that's how you pronounce that word. Now let's look at the perfect progressive. You're going to use your proper helping verbs. Look, this is a helping verb. Helping verb. Here, you're going to use the proper helping verbs, which is phrase. Once you're putting more than one verb in there, it becomes a phrase. So it's a verb phrase, okay? Plus spelling. So that's why the progressive is spelling. The perfect verbs, whatever you decide what it is right here, and it's been. But it just depends on what your subject is, and it's depending on what you want to say, if you want it to be in the past, present, or the future. So you're understanding how this really works, because I had a question on helping you understand this already, because if you're not understanding your helping verbs and the meaning of them, you're not really understanding what they mean. Look, we're doing past, present, and future. I had to go on the next line. So past, present, and future again. So if it's in the past, it means it's completed before another task is started. You want it to be finalized. You're going to use the word had. Now in the present, it's completed, I'm done, but we have a continuing action that's happening with it, right? So this one is completed before another action begins. This one is, well, it could be completed, or maybe it's not completed, and it'll pick back up again. That's the present. What are we going to use for the present? What words? Have and has. Have and has, right? Now for the future, will be completed by the end of blah, 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 whatever. Make sure that you are using the correct auxiliary verbs. You know, which is kind of fun. In the future, you're always going to use the auxiliary verb be. And in like the present, you're going to be using am, are, and is. In the past, you're going to be using was and were. But in the future, you're going to be using be. Everybody, I hope you enjoyed this lesson as much as I enjoyed preparing it for everybody. All right, we'll see you in the next lesson. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for watching. See you in the next episode.